Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Shop Adventures, my weekly excursion where I leave the homestead here at Athletic Geek HQ in search of my bounty of comics, graphic novels, action figures, collectibles, and all things in between. First things first, time to talk about what stood out from last week's pull list, and since it was only 4 books, all 4 of them were really good. The best one was The Flash. They're redoing the origin story. It's different in how they're retelling the origin story, somewhat similar to how they had Zero Year in the New 52 Batman. But he's also, because of the time travel aspect that really goes with the Flash's character, he gets to meet his future self, and it's really interesting, and Flash is just one of those characters where something like that can work. So I say it's the best kept secret in comics, but it was the best book of my pull list last week. Batman Who Laughs was really good. Continuing that mini-series as it goes into its home stretch. Hawkman and the conclusion of that story arc was also very good. It definitely avoided the chopping block, and it's definitely interested to see where the next story goes. And then Detective Comics was also just great. You find out who the Arkham Knight is, and it's even though I'm not much of a Damian Wayne fan, I really liked how they worked Damian Wayne with this story. It was a short bounty, but the bounty was very good last week, and go check out those books if you haven't already, if they're still available at your local comic shop. But I wish I could say more, but as you know, I don't like to give too much about the books out or give too much information out, because I encourage you to go read them yourself and check out these awesome stories on your own. But I will see you guys back here at the homestead with this week's bounty. Hey everyone, I am back here at the homestead here at Athletic Geek HQ. Got a larger bounty than last week, but that's not too terribly difficult since last week was only 4 books. But let's get right started. I'm going to start in the world of Marvel with Daredevil number 5, and I've been loving Chip Zdarsky's run thus far. It's just been really, they had a big reveal in the last issue, and it's the story, with the vigilante and the cop that's against it. It is a played out story, but the way they're telling it just feels very different in this book right now. And to me, that's the hallmark of a good writer, is take an old concept and make it feel new. And I feel like Chip Zdarsky is doing that very well thus far on his Daredevil run. And it's probably my this and Mr. and Mrs. X might be my favorite Marvel books right now. So Daredevil number 5, really looking forward to that one. And back on the subject of Marvel, we have Uncanny X-Men number 18, and meh. That's literally my feelings on it. Meh. It ain't bad. It's not a bad book at all. But, it's kind of up and down. It was really low, and it's kind of made its way up, and now it's just kind of sailing here in mediocrity. It's not bad enough to go the chopping block, but it's nothing that I get, unlike Daredevil and other books, it's nothing that I get really too excited about whenever I collect it as part of the bounty. So, but we'll give it a go. And, I do love the X-Men. I do love being able to have regular, exposure to the X-Men characters I like so much. So, Uncanny X-Men number 18. We now jump to the world of DC with Batman number 71. It's just, they're retelling a Bane story. I shouldn't say retelling, it's a new Bane story, and it wasn't bad last issue. But I feel like, maybe they're unlike Chip Zdarsky, where he's borrowing quite a bit, but still making the concept, or I shouldn't say he's borrowing, but he's taking an old concept, making it feel new. This is okay, but it's not really feeling new. It just feels more like, a bit of a rehash with what's going on with Bane. Only they just have multiple different Batmans in there. It's just kind of, I don't know how I feel about it yet. It's not terrible, but it's just something that I don't really know how I feel about it just yet. So we'll give it a go. You hear about my love-hate relationship with Tom King's writing on Batman, so Batman number 71. From there, we go to Nightwing number 60, and this is a book that flat out I am only holding on to in hopes that they change the direction and that they go back to having Dick Grayson and this multiple Nightwing thing ends soon. It isn't, again, it's not terrible, but it's not something that I'm really excited about whatsoever. But if, when they go back to the character, you know, that makes me a fan of Nightwing, when they go back to using Grayson, then I want to be able to jump right into it, know how he came back, and just keep reading this Nightwing run. When that's going to happen, I have no earthly idea, and my patience is kind of wearing thin, but I'm a completionist, and I know eventually it's going to happen, so they're getting my money from me, so job well done there. You suckered me. It's an okay story, but it's nothing spectacular whatsoever, but you know, I'm holding out for hope that it goes back to, you know, what I like about Nightwing, and from there, I have all of my, you know, all the issues in place. So, yeah, Nightwing number 60. We go from there to Justice League number 24, and yeah, with the whole fifth and sixth dimension stuff going on, and Batman kind of discovering something and really not using what he discovered to help out some of his friends, really leaves the Justice League in limbo. And as you take a good look at that cover there, we don't know if Batman's gone crazy being in that other dimension or what is going on, but yeah, definitely not liking what Bruce is doing to his comrades in the Justice League right now. It's been a really good story. It's made Mixie feel, or at least Mixie's world, feel scary. I became a Mr. Mixia Spitlick fan through the Superman cartoon, where it was just very, very goofy and fun. You know, Gilbert Godfrey voiced him, and you know, some of my favorite episodes just with that. But this has made it not feel quite as fun as he was on the animated series, and like, I want to say terrifying, but just a lot more serious of a threat with what's going on with what he's doing to the Justice League right now. It's really, really good. Scott Snyder's killing it, and Justice League's a good book. And Justice League number 24. And finally, to round out this week's bounty, we have Superman number 11, and yeah, just this is on the chopping block. This is going to have to really pick it up because I'm just not feeling this book. What's bad is it like kind of goes, Superman's good, and then Action Comics is not so good, and then Bendis starts writing Action Comics where it's the better book, and then Superman suffers. So while I want to cut one, it's kind of like, well, which one's going to be the better book? You know, because I was thinking about cutting Action, and then Action ended up being better than Superman books. So, yeah, I've said it 1,000 times before, and I'll say it again on this adventure. Bendis needs to find one Superman title and stick with it. And I'm not saying he's a bad Superman writer. He just needs to let someone else, let their voice be heard on this character, and only have his voice on the other. He's a good Superman writer. He's, you know, maybe a great one. We'll have to see how the run, pans out. The big question is, can Brian Michael Bendis come to DC and write Superman? Yeah, he can. He's good. But I don't know if it's burnout. I don't know if it, I'm not going to pretend to know what it's like to write. While I kind of get on some writers' case, I respect each and every one of them for being able to be creative and come up with concepts that I could not do. But I feel like he needs to pick one or the other because both titles are never concurrently a strong Superman book, in my opinion. One gets good and the other one suffers. And right now it's the title Superman, suffering while Action is doing better. So, Superman number 11, and yeah, hopefully it picks up. And that is pretty much it for me this week. Let me know what you picked up at your local comic shop in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see others like it, please like, share, and subscribe. Go like my Facebook page for more content at facebook.com/athleticgeek89 and be on the lookout every Thursday for my collection comic of the week that is exclusive to my Facebook page. But other than that, I'm out. Y'all be cool. Later.